Did you know the energy capital of the world started as a muddy settlement along a bayou? Or did you know the capital of Texas once fought a small war just to keep its government records from being stolen? Or did you know two Dallas billionaires once tried to corner the global silver market and nearly triggered a financial crisis? One of these events came closer to shaking the entire global economy than most people realize. Well, these are just a few of the moments that shaped the state of Texas. Today, we're exploring the hidden forces behind Houston, Austin, and Dallas, and how geography helped turn them into some of the most powerful cities in America. 1. The Bayou Gamble, 1836. In 1836, Houston was founded along the banks of the Buffalo Bayou, a muddy and unpredictable waterway that most settlers would have overlooked. The land was humid, swampy, and vulnerable to flooding, hardly the ideal foundation for a major city. But its founders saw something others didn't: a navigable path inland that connected to the Gulf of Mexico while remaining protected from direct coastal assault. At the time, Texas had just won independence from Mexico, and leaders needed a capital and commercial hub quickly. Houston briefly served as the capital of the Republic of Texas, embedding it into the state's earliest political power structure. Its inland location meant ships could move goods without being fully exposed to Gulf storms or naval threats. That positioning gave Houston a strategic advantage over purely coastal rivals. From the very beginning, Houston was built on the belief that imperfect geography could be engineered into leverage. 2. The storm that shifted power, 1900. In 1900, Galveston was the economic center of Texas, a thriving port city that handled most of the state's maritime trade. It was wealthy, politically influential, and positioned directly on the Gulf of Mexico. Then the Great Galveston Hurricane of 1900, the deadliest hurricane in American history, made landfall. With almost no warning, storm surge overwhelmed the island, killing an estimated 8,000 people and destroying much of the city in a single night. The devastation wasn't just physical. It shattered investor confidence in coastal exposure. Most business leaders began reconsidering whether direct access to the Gulf was truly an advantage. Houston, sitting inland along Buffalo Bayou, suddenly looked less vulnerable. In the years that followed, political support and capital quietly shifted toward expanding Houston's waterway access instead. 3. The oil gusher that changed everything, 1901. In January of 1901, a drilling operation at Spindletop Hill near Beaumont struck oil with explosive force. Instead of a steady flow, crude oil blasted more than 100 feet into the air, raining down over the surrounding fields. The well produced so much oil that it flooded the market and dropped prices almost overnight. What had once been a scarce resource suddenly became abundant, reshaping the global energy economy. Investors rushed into Southeast Texas, buying land, forming companies, and building refineries at record speed. Houston, already positioned with rail access and inland waterways, became the financial and logistical center for the new oil industry. Banks, traders, and engineers gravitated toward the city, turning it into a hub of speculation and expansion. Within a decade, oil had transformed Houston from a regional town into the emerging energy capital of the South. 4. Forcing the bayou into a port, 1914. By the early 1900s, Houston had oil, rail connections, and growing political influence. But it still lacked a true deep-water port. The Buffalo Bayou was shallow and inconsistent, unable to handle large ocean-going vessels. City leaders pushed aggressively for federal funding to dredge and expand the waterway into what would become the Houston Ship Channel. It was an ambitious and controversial project, requiring massive engineering and public investment. Critics questioned whether reshaping a muddy bayou into an international port was realistic. But in 1914, the ship channel officially opened to deep-water navigation. Suddenly, while Houston could move oil, timber, cotton, and industrial goods directly to global markets. What had once been a regional waterway was transformed into one of the most important shipping corridors in the United States. 5. War, fuel, and industrial power, 1940. When the United States entered World War II, Houston's refineries and shipyards became critical national assets. The Gulf Coast supplied enormous volumes of fuel that powered Allied ships, tanks, and aircraft across multiple continents. Synthetic rubber plants and petrochemical facilities expanded rapidly to meet wartime demand. Shipyards along the ship channel operated around the clock, producing vessels at unprecedented speed. Federal investment poured into infrastructure, further strengthening Houston's industrial base. What had been an energy city became a strategic wartime engine. The war permanently elevated Houston's importance in national defense planning. By 1945, its role in global logistics was firmly established. 6. War the Texas City Disaster, 1947. In April 1947, a ship carrying ammonium nitrate caught fire at the port of Texas City, just southeast of Houston. What followed was one of the deadliest industrial accidents in American history. The cargo exploded with such force that it registered on seismographs hundreds of miles away. Nearly 600 people were killed, including almost the entire Texas City Fire Department. Buildings were leveled, ships were thrown from the water, and fires burned for days. The disaster exposed the immense risks embedded within the rapidly expanding petrochemical corridor. Houston's growing energy dominance came with dangers few fully understood at the time. The explosion permanently changed industrial safety regulations along the Gulf Coast. 7. Mission Control and the Space Race, 1960s. In 1961, NASA selected Houston as the site for its manned spacecraft center, later renamed the Johnson Space Center. The decision was influenced by land availability, university partnerships, and proximity to existing military and industrial infrastructure. Vast tracts of flat terrain made expansion practical and efficient. During the height of the Cold War, Houston became the command center for America's space ambitions. When astronauts faced crisis during Apollo 13, the world heard the words, "Houston, we have a problem." That phrase wasn't symbolic. It reflected where decisions were made. 8 engineers and scientists worked from Houston to guide missions millions of miles from Earth. Space exploration added technological prestige to a city already powered by oil. 8. The oil bust and economic shock, 1980s. The prosperity built on oil proved volatile. In the early 1980s, global oil prices collapsed after years of rapid expansion. Energy companies downsized, projects were canceled, and investments slowed dramatically. Houston's skyline, once rising quickly, it was suddenly dotted with half-empty office towers. Unemployment surged, and banks heavily tied to energy loans struggled. Entire neighborhoods felt the contraction. The downturn exposed how dependent the regional economy had become on a single commodity. Growth would eventually return, but the boom and bust cycle became part of Houston's identity. 9. Hurricane Harvey and the floodplain reality, 2017. In August 2017, Hurricane Harvey stalled over southeast Texas and delivered record-breaking rainfall. Entire neighborhoods flooded as bayous and reservoirs reached capacity. The Addicks and Barker reservoirs were intentionally released to prevent catastrophic dam failure. That decision protected central infrastructure, but flooded surrounding communities. Thousands of homes were damaged or destroyed. Development patterns built across natural floodplains came under renewed scrutiny. Harvey was not Houston's first major flood, but it was among its most revealing. It forced a new conversation about how growth interacts with geography. 10. Energy capital of the world, present day. Today, Houston is widely recognized as the energy capital of the world. More oil and gas companies are headquartered there than in any other city. Decisions made in Houston influence global fuel markets and geopolitical relationships. The Port of Houston continues to rank among the busiest in the United States by tonnage. Petrochemical production along the Gulf Coast supplies materials used worldwide. The city has diversified into healthcare, aerospace, and technology, but energy remains its core. Its economic reach extends far beyond Texas. What began as a muddy bayou settlement now operates as a central node in the global energy network. Houston's power was built on oil, ports, and industry. But Texas isn't powered by energy alone. 3 hours inland, a very different kind of leverage began to take shape. Austin, 13. Defining chapters. 1. The capital by compromise, 1839. In 1839, the young Republic of Texas faced a critical decision about where to place its permanent capital. Many leaders preferred a coastal city where trade and population were already established. But President Mirabeau Lamar believed the future of Texas lay further inland. He pushed for a settlement along the Colorado River known as Waterloo. The location sat on the frontier, far from major population centers, but Lamar believed it would anchor expansion westward. Soon after the decision was made, the town was renamed Austin in honor of Stephen F. Austin. Government buildings rose quickly, and the city became the political center of the republic. What began as a bold gamble placed Texas's seat of power in a small river settlement deep in central Texas. 2. After the Texas Archive War, 1842. Just a few years after Austin became the capital, its status was suddenly threatened. In 1842, Mexican forces raided parts of Texas, creating panic among government officials. President Sam Houston ordered that the republic's official archives be moved from Austin to Houston for safety. Many residents of Austin believed the move was really an attempt to permanently relocate the capital. When wagons arrived to remove government documents, armed citizens confronted them. A group of residents reportedly fired a cannon shot in defiance. The wagons carrying the archives were forced to turn around. The confrontation became known as the Texas Archive War and cemented Austin's role as the permanent capital. 3. The Colorado River Gamble, 1800s. Early leaders believed the Colorado River could turn Austin into a major commercial center. The river flowed directly through the city and seemed capable of supporting transportation and industry. Several ambitious plans were proposed to dam and control its waters. Investors imagined factories, mills, and shipping routes that would rival other Texas cities. But the Colorado River proved unpredictable and difficult to manage. Seasonal flooding repeatedly disrupted construction projects. Engineering technology at the time struggled to tame the powerful waterway. Still, the river remained central to Austin's long-term development plans. 4. The University of Texas changes everything, 1883. Long before Austin became a technology hub, education began shaping the city's future. The University of Texas opened in 1883 with only a small number of students and professors. State leaders hoped the school would strengthen Texas through research and higher learning. Over time, the university expanded into one of the largest public institutions in the country. Our students from across Texas and beyond came to study in Austin. Professors and researchers brought new ideas, industries, and opportunities with them. The university created a steady flow of talent that would later attract technology companies. What began as a small academic institution would eventually become one of the driving forces behind Austin's modern economy. 5. The state capital and political gravity, 1888. In 1888, Texas completed one of the most recognizable buildings in the state. The Texas State Capitol towered above Austin's skyline and symbolized the city's role as the political heart of Texas. At the time of its completion, it was the largest state capitol building in the United States. Government agencies, law firms, and lobbying groups quickly clustered around it. Political decisions affecting millions of Texans flowed through Austin's halls. The presence of state government created a stable economic foundation for the city. Even during downturns, a government work helped keep Austin financially steady. The Capitol ensured that Austin would remain central to Texas politics for generations. 6. The Austin Dam Disaster, 1900. By the late 1800s, city leaders constructed a massive granite dam across the Colorado River to generate electricity and attract industry. It was one of the most ambitious engineering projects in Texas at the time. The dam was expected to transform Austin into a manufacturing center powered by hydroelectric energy. But in 1900, heavy rains caused the Colorado River to swell beyond the dam's limits. The structure failed catastrophically, sending a powerful wall of water rushing downstream. Bridges were destroyed, and large sections of the city suffered damage. The disaster crippled Austin's industrial ambitions for years. It also demonstrated just how difficult controlling the Colorado River would be. 7. The Highland Lakes System, 1930s. After decades of failed attempts to manage the Colorado River, a new solution emerged during the Great Depression. The Lower Colorado River Authority began constructing a series of dams upstream from Austin. These dams created what are now known as the Highland Lakes. The system provided flood control, hydroelectric power, and a reliable water supply. For the first time, Austin could manage the river that had once threatened its development. The lakes also became major recreational destinations. Communities and businesses grew around their shores. The project reshaped Central Texas and helped make Austin's long-term growth possible. 8. The Semiconductor Revolution, 1960s to 1980s. Austin's transformation into a technology center began quietly in the 1960s. Semiconductor companies such as IBM and Motorola began establishing research and manufacturing operations in the region. They were attracted by the growing talent pipeline from the University of Texas. The city also offered relatively affordable land and a high quality of life. Over time, more technology firms followed. Engineers, programmers, and researchers began relocating to Austin. The region slowly developed a reputation for innovation and experimentation. These early investments laid the foundation for what would later be known as Silicon Hills. 9. The cultural boom, 1970s to 1990s. While technology began growing quietly, Austin developed a very different reputation at the same time. The city's music scene exploded during the 1970s and 1980s, when live music venues opened across downtown and surrounding neighborhoods. Musicians from across the country came to perform and collaborate. Austin eventually earned the nickname Live Music Capital of the World. The city's independent culture helped attract artists, entrepreneurs, and students. That creative atmosphere became one of Austin's defining characteristics. Culture and creativity became part of the city's economic identity. 10. SXSW and global attention, 1987. In 1987, a small festival launched in Austin that would eventually gain global recognition. South by Southwest began primarily as a music festival designed to highlight emerging artists. Over time, it expanded to include film, technology, and interactive media. Entrepreneurs, investors, and creatives began gathering in Austin every year. The event turned the city into an international meeting point for innovation. New startups often use the festival to launch ideas or products. Media attention around SXSW helped elevate Austin's global reputation. What started as a local festival eventually became one of the city's biggest international events. 11. The population explosion, 2000s to present. During the early 2000s, Austin began growing at an extraordinary pace. People from across the United States started relocating to the city for job opportunities and lifestyle. The technology sector expanded rapidly as startups and established companies arrived. New housing developments spread across the surrounding region. Restaurants, music venues, and cultural attractions multiplied. The city's population surged year after year. Austin quickly became one of the fastest-growing metro areas in the country. Growth brought opportunity, but it also introduced major challenges. 12. The corporate migration wave, 2010s to present. In the 2010s, a new wave of corporate investment accelerated Austin's growth even further. Major technology companies began relocating or expanding operations in the city. Firms such as Tesla, Oracle, Apple, and numerous startups established large presences in the region. These moves brought thousands of high-paying jobs. Venture capital and entrepreneurship flourished in the growing tech ecosystem. Austin began competing with traditional tech centers like Silicon Valley. The city's economic influence expanded rapidly, and what had once been an emerging tech hub became a major national technology center. 13. Housing pressure and infrastructure strain. Rapid population growth has placed significant pressure on Austin's housing market. Demand for homes has surged far faster than new construction. Property values and rents have risen dramatically across the region. Longtime residents have watched neighborhoods change quickly. Traffic congestion and infrastructure demands have also increased. City leaders now face difficult decisions about how to manage continued expansion. Balancing growth with affordability has become one of Austin's defining challenges. The city's success has created problems that few predicted decades earlier. Austin's power grew from politics, education, and the technology boom that reshaped Central Texas. But further north, another city was building influence in a very different way. Where Austin became the center of ideas and innovation, Dallas became a center of finance, transportation, and corporate power. Dallas with 10 defining chapters. 1. The The Trinity River Trading Post, 1840s. Dallas began as a small trading post along the Trinity River in the early 1840s. At the time, the area was little more than a frontier settlement surrounded by open land and wagon trails, but its location sat at the intersection of several key travel routes used by traders and settlers moving through North Texas. Merchants quickly realized the site could serve as a natural marketplace where goods from different regions could be exchanged. Farmers, ranchers, and traders began bringing products through the area to sell or transport elsewhere. Even before major infrastructure arrived, Dallas was quietly becoming a regional commercial hub. The Trinity River itself wasn't easily navigable, but the surrounding land routes made the town strategically valuable. What started as a simple trading outpost would eventually grow into one of the most powerful economic centers in the American South. 2. The Railroad Crossroads, 1870s. Dallas's true transformation began in the 1870s when two major railroads reached the city. The Houston and Texas Central Railway arrived first, connecting Dallas to the Gulf Coast and major markets in the South. Soon after, the Texas and Pacific Railway crossed through the city from east to west. When the intersection of these rail lines turned Dallas into one of the most important transportation hubs in Texas. Goods could now move quickly across the state and beyond. Farmers and ranchers shipped products through Dallas to reach national markets. Businesses began relocating to the city to take advantage of its new logistical advantages. Almost overnight, Dallas evolved from a frontier town into a rapidly growing commercial center. 3. The Cotton Empire, late 1800s. By the late 19th century, Dallas had become one of the largest cotton markets in the world. Cotton from farms across Texas and neighboring states flowed into the city for processing and shipment. Massive warehouses and cotton exchanges appeared across downtown Dallas. Merchants, brokers, and financiers built fortunes trading the valuable crop. The industry fueled rapid growth and brought new wealth into the region. Railroads allowed cotton shipments to reach national and international markets efficiently. And Dallas's economy expanded quickly as the cotton trade boomed. For a time, the city earned a reputation as one of the most important cotton trading centers on Earth. 4. The Trinity River Flood and the city's reinvention, 1908. In 1908, Dallas experienced one of the most destructive natural disasters in its history. Heavy rainfall caused the Trinity River to overflow its banks and flood large sections of the city. Homes, businesses, and transportation routes were damaged or destroyed. The disaster exposed the dangers of building so close to the unpredictable river. City leaders realized major infrastructure changes were necessary to protect the growing population. Over the following years, engineers redesigned the river system with levees and flood control measures. Bridges and transportation routes were rebuilt with greater resilience. The flood ultimately forced Dallas to rethink its relationship with the Trinity River. 5. Banking and oil money, early 1900s to 1930s. Even though oil was discovered in other parts of Texas, Dallas became one of the financial centers managing the industry. Banks and investment firms based in the city financed drilling operations and energy expansion across the state. Oil executives frequently traveled to Dallas to secure funding and negotiate deals. Financial institutions there grew rapidly as energy wealth flowed through the region. Dallas soon gained a reputation as a powerful banking hub for the Southwest. Business leaders used the city's growing financial influence to fund infrastructure and corporate expansion. The combination of banking power and oil money accelerated Dallas's economic rise. By the early 20th century, the city was emerging as one of the most influential business centers in Texas. 6 Dealey Plaza and a national tragedy, 1963. On November 22, 1963, Dallas became the center of one of the most shocking moments in American history. President John F. Kennedy was riding in a motorcade through downtown when he was assassinated in Dealey Plaza. The event stunned the nation and was broadcast around the world. Millions of Americans watched the unfolding tragedy on television. The assassination left a permanent mark on Dallas's identity and reputation. For years afterward, the city struggled with the global attention and controversy surrounding the event. Dealey Plaza eventually became a historic landmark, visited by people from across the world. The moment forever linked Dallas to one of the most defining events in modern American history. 7. The rise of the Dallas Cowboys, 1970s to present. In 1960, the Dallas Cowboys joined the National Football League as an expansion team. What followed was one of the most successful sports franchises in history. Under the leadership of legendary coach Tom Landry, the team developed a reputation for discipline and innovation. Championships and national television exposure helped turn the Cowboys into a household name. The team eventually earned the nickname America's Team, reflecting its enormous national following. In 1989, Arkansas businessman Jerry Jones purchased the Dallas Cowboys for approximately $140 million. At the time, the team was struggling financially and coming off several disappointing seasons. Jones made the controversial decision to fire longtime coach Tom Landry shortly after buying the franchise. He hired college coach Jimmy Johnson and began rebuilding the organization from the ground up. The Cowboys went on to win 3 Super Bowl championships during the 1990s. Under Jones's ownership, the franchise became a massive marketing and business powerhouse. In 2009, the team opened AT&T Stadium, one of the most technologically advanced sports venues ever built. When the stadium hosts major sporting events, concerts, and entertainment spectacles that generate enormous economic activity for North Texas. Today, the Dallas Cowboys are widely considered the most valuable sports franchise in the world. 8. The Skyline Boom and Corporate Power, 1970s to 1980s. During the 1970s and 1980s, Dallas experienced an extraordinary wave of corporate development. New skyscrapers rose across the city's skyline at a rapid pace. Major companies relocated headquarters to Dallas, attracted by its central location and business-friendly environment. Financial institutions and law firms expanded rapidly during this period. The city's economy diversified beyond agriculture and energy. Corporate offices filled downtown and surrounding business districts. Dallas began competing with other major U.S. cities as a center for corporate leadership. The skyline boom symbolized the city's transformation into a modern economic powerhouse. 9. The Hunt Brothers Silver Crisis, 1980. In the late 1970s, Dallas billionaires Nelson Bunker Hunt and William Herbert Hunt attempted one of the most ambitious financial gambles in modern history. Believing inflation would drive precious metal prices higher, the brothers began buying enormous amounts of silver on global markets. Over time, they accumulated vast quantities of physical silver, along with large futures contracts, giving them influence over a significant share of the world's supply. As their buying intensified, where silver prices surged from around $6 an ounce to nearly $50 in early 1980. Investors around the world watched as speculation exploded and the Hunts appeared to be cornering the global silver market. Regulators and commodity exchanges soon grew concerned that such concentrated control posed serious risks to financial stability. In March of 1980, new trading restrictions were introduced, triggering a sudden collapse in silver prices on what became known as Silver Thursday. The Hunts lost billions of dollars and were unable to meet their financial obligations. Banks feared the fallout could ripple through the financial system and potentially spark a broader economic crisis. What began as an attempt by 2 Dallas businessmen to dominate a single commodity had nearly destabilized the global silver market itself. 10. The Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, Modern Era. Today, when Dallas sits at the heart of one of the fastest-growing metropolitan regions in the United States, the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex has grown into a massive economic engine. Major corporations, logistics companies, and technology firms continue expanding across the region. The area benefits from a central geographic location connecting both coasts of the United States. Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport became one of the busiest airports in the world. Transportation networks, audit corporate headquarters, and population growth have reshaped North Texas. Millions of people now live and work in the expanding metro area. What began as a small trading post along the Trinity River now anchors one of the most powerful economic regions in North America. From the oil fields that built Houston, to the political and technological rise of Austin, to the corporate and financial power centered in Dallas, Texas didn't grow around a single city. It grew through a network of cities, each shaped by geography, industry, and moments that changed their course forever. Railroads, rivers, energy, education, and opportunity all pulled people toward this state. And over time, Those forces turned Texas into one of the most powerful economic regions in the world. But the story of Texas isn't finished. Because like every place we explore, the forces that built these cities are still shaping them today. Every state has cities with stories just as surprising, moments that change their futures and shape the country we know today. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments which state we should explore next. Because the deeper you look at the map, the more stories you discover inside it.